Okay, let's dive in. Today we're getting into a really classic text. We're looking at parts of Book 2 of Homer's Odyssey and really focusing on the young Telemachus.
Yes, it's quite a piece of literature you've brought us, full of, well, everything, drama, family issues, and these first steps on what becomes a huge, heroic journey.
Exactly. And our mission really for this deep dive is to figure out how this young man who seems completely, outmatched finds his voice, how he starts trying to reclaim his future with a little help maybe from seen and unseen forces.
Yes. There are some genuinely surprising bits in here about courage, cleverness, and, well, the gods getting involved.
So let's start at the beginning. We open with this really striking image, don't we? Telemachus, Odysseus' son, getting up at dawn. And he's not just a kid anymore. He puts on a sword, sandals, and Homer describes him as looking like a god in presence.
Right. And then he does something huge. He calls the Achaeans the Greeks together for an assembly, which sounds normal, maybe, but it's the first assembly in 20 years, not since his father Odysseus left for Troy.
20 years. Just think about that wait. All that time, nothing. And now this young man steps up.
And, the way it starts is quite poignant. With the old hero Aegyptios, he's really old, bent over, and he's mourning his own son Antiphus, lost with Odysseus, remember, to the Cyclops.
Ah, yes, that story.
And his question kind of hangs in the air. Who has gathered us in this way? It really sets the stage, highlights Odysseus' absence and the void Telemachus is trying to fill.
And it's amazing, after all this time, Telemachus doesn't just call the meeting. He takes his father's seat.
It's symbolically huge.
It really is a claim to authority right there.
And then he tells them why he called them. It's very personal. He talks about his grief and these two evils he's facing.
The first, obviously, is his father being gone for so long. Odysseus, who he reminds them was king once over you here and was kind, like a father.
But then he says there's a second, even greater evil.
Yes, and that's the suitors. The men trying to marry his mother, Penelope, basically camped out in his house against her will. He really paints a picture of how bad it is, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He says they loiter in our house, just hanging around. And worse, they sacrifice our oxen and our sheep and our fat goats, make a holiday feast of it, and drink the bright wine recklessly.
Just consuming everything, wasting his inheritance.
Total waste. And Telemachus admits he feels powerless. He says, we ourselves are not the men to do it. We must be weaklings. It's quite raw.
Yeah, and he appeals to their sense of shame, their fear of the gods. And then he just breaks down, cries, and throws the scepter down.
He does. And it's quite a moment. You might see it as weakness, but maybe it's also strategic. Showing that raw vulnerability. It kind of shocks people, makes them face the situation. It's his way of demanding change, really.
Powerful stuff. But how do the suitors react? I mean, they're being called out publicly.
Well, one of the main ones, Antinous, he pushes back hard. He doesn't take any blame.
Now, who does he blame?
He points the finger squarely at Penelope, calls her greatly resourceful, which sounds like a compliment, but then accuses her of deceit.
Deceit. So he's trying to flip the script. What's this alleged deceit? What was Penelope's stratagem, as he calls it?
The famous loom story. Antinous reveals this really clever plan she had. She set up this huge loom in the hall, said she was weaving a burial shroud for Laertes, Odysseus' old father, and she promised the suitors she'd choose one of them to marry, but only after the shroud was finished.
Okay. Sounds reasonable enough, I suppose.
But here's the trick. For 3 years, she'd weave all day.
And then
In the night, she would have torches set by and undo it. Every night, unraveling the day's work.
Wow. That's incredible. Talk about playing for time.
Isn't it? It's more than just clever. It's like strategic stalling on an epic scale, using time itself as a weapon when you seem to have no other power.
But it couldn't last forever, right? Antinous says they found out.
Exactly. He says one of her women, who knew the whole of the story, told us. So she got caught. And apparently, they forced her to finish it. By force, she had to finish it.
So now that the weaving trick is over, what's their demand?
It's pretty brutal. Antinous tells Telemachus straight up, send your mother back to her father, Icarius. Let him deal with marrying her off and collecting the bride price.
Oof. Basically, kick your own mother out.
Pretty much. They praise her cleverness, but say she's not thinking straight on this single matter, meaning choosing a husband. And they declare they won't leave, won't stop consuming his property until she marries one of them, no matter the cost to Telemachus.
It's pure intimidation. So the pressure's really on Telemachus now. How does he respond to that?
His response is, well, quite something. He stands his ground completely. He utterly refuses.
He does. What does he say?
He says he cannot thrust the mother who bore me, who raised me, out of the house against her will. He lists the consequences, angering his grandfather, invoking the Furies.
The Furies, wow, he's not messing around. Those are serious.
Exactly. And he mentions the people's resentment. He basically dares the suitors. Go ahead, spoil my house, but he'll cry out to the gods everlasting, hoping Zeus will grant a reversal of fortunes.
So he's found his voice. He's standing up to them, invoking the gods.
It's a definite shift. He's not the weakling he claimed to be earlier. He's stepping up.
And right then, something happens, doesn't it? A sign.
A huge sign. Just as he finishes speaking, Zeus sends 2 eagles. They come soaring down from a mountain peak.
2 eagles. What do?
They fly together for a bit, then suddenly turn on each other, tearing at each other with their talons, wings shuddering, and then they fly off to the right across the houses and city.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds significant. Like a message from the god.
Definitely an omen. Very dramatic. Everyone would have noticed that.
So Zeus sends this powerful sign, but like interpreting omens, it's not always simple, is it? How do they figure out what it means?
Well, there's an old warrior there, Halitherses. Homer tells us he's far beyond the men of his generation in understanding the meaning of birds. He knows how to read the signs.
Okay, so what's his take?
He interprets it as disaster, a great disaster coming for the suitors. He says Odysseus is coming back soon.
Really? He predicts his return.
Yes. Says he's somewhere close by working out the death and destruction of all these men. And he even reminds them he predicted this before years ago.
What was the earlier prediction?
That Odysseus would suffer greatly, lose all his men, but return in the 20th year and nobody would recognize him. It's like saying, I told you so, and now the signs are clear.
You'd think that would give the suitors pause, right? Divine eagles, an old prophecy recalled.
You would think, but no. Particularly Eurymachos, another main suitor, he just scoffs at it. Total contempt.
Scorns the prophecy. How?
Tells Halitherses to go prophesy to your children. Basically, mind your own business, old man. Says birds fly around all the time. Not all of them mean anything.
Wow. Just dismisses it.
Completely. Calls Odysseus dead, accuses Halitherses of just trying to stir up trouble for his own gain. He and the others, they remain totally defiant. They fear no one, they say, and they'll keep up their harsh courtship until Penelope marries.
It's like willful blindness, almost. The signs are there, but they refuse to see them.
It really is that classic human flaw, isn't it? Doubling down even when the universe seems to be sending you a pretty clear warning signal.
So the assembly kind of breaks up after that.
Yeah.
Another suitor, Leocritos, mocks Telemachus' plans too, right?
Yeah, it dissolves without any real resolution for Telemachus in terms of community support. Leocritos basically laughs off the idea that Telemachus could actually do anything.
But Telemachus doesn't give up. What's his next move?
He does something important. He goes off alone down to the sea. He washes his hands in the seawater, kind of ritual purification maybe.
And then?
And then he prays. He prays to the goddess Athene, reminding her that she'd appeared to him before and encouraged him to seek news of his father. It's a quiet moment, just him and the gods after all that public confrontation.
Does she answer?
She does, instantly. She appears, but disguised. She looks and sounds like Mentor, an old family friend.
Mentor, so that's where that term comes from.
Exactly, and she praises Telemachus, tells him he's showing his father's strength, that he's not going to be a coward. She reassures him his journey won't be pointless.
That must have been a huge boost for him.
Absolutely. And she doesn't just offer encouragement, she gets practical. She promises to get him a fast ship and even says she'll go with him as a companion. Divine backup.
Wow, so Athene herself is going to help him.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It really is. It shows how taking that first step, even just praying by the sea, can, unlock some serious support.
So what are Athene's instructions? What does he need to do?
She tells him to go back home, act normal around the suitors for a bit, but start getting provisions ready for the journey. Pack food and wine in containers.
Secret preparation.
Yes. And then we get this lovely private scene with his old nurse, Eurycleia. He goes to her, asks her to get the supplies ready secretly.
What does he ask for specifically?
12 in all, jars of the best wine and 20 measures of barley meal packed into strong leather bags. He's being very specific, planning ahead.
It shows a new level of planning, doesn't it? Not just reacting, but organizing. How does Eurycleia take it?
Oh, she's heartbroken. She cries. She laments. She's terrified for him, fears he'll end up lost like Odysseus, or that the suitors will find out and kill him, divide up everything.
That's understandable. She raised him.
Totally. But Telemachus, he shows that new maturity again. He reassures her, says the plan was not made without a god's will.
Ah, invoking divine backing again.
Exactly. And he makes her swear a great oath not to tell his mother, Penelope, for about 11 or 12 days.
Okay.
He wants to spare her the worry and weeping until he's safely gone.
That's quite considerate, actually, balancing his mission with protecting his mother.
It's a nice touch showing his growth. He's thinking about others, even as he sets out on this dangerous quest.
Okay, so Telemachus rejoins the suitors, who are, I assume, still mocking him.
Oh, yeah. They're making fun of him, even talking about how he might die on this trip and how they'll divide his stuff. They have no idea what's really happening.
And while they're doing that, Athena's busy.
Very busy. Still disguised, this time she goes around town as Telemachus, gathering a crew of companions for the voyage. And she borrows a fast ship from a guy named Noemon.
She's really making things happen behind the scenes.
She is. And then, as sunset approaches, she does something else pretty amazing. She causes this sweet slumber to fall over all the suitors.
Puts them to sleep, magically.
Seems like it. Homer says she knocked the goblets right out of their hands, so they all stumble off to bed early in the city, leaving the coast clear for Telemachus.
That's the perfect assist. Divine intervention, clearing the way.
Right. It smooths the path completely.
So the suitors are asleep, the ship and crew are ready. It's time to go.
It is. Athena, still his mentor, goes to the palace and calls Telemachus out. So let us go, she says, and not delay our voyaging longer.
The moment of truth.
Yes. They meet the companions down by the ship.
And then they load up.
Telemachus directs the loading of all the provisions Eurycleia prepared into the strong benched vessel. Then Athena gets in first, taking her place in the stern.
Leading the way.
And Telemachus sits right beside her. The companions cast off the ropes, and they're off.
It's actually happening. He's leaving Ithaca.
And the divine help continues. Athene sends a perfect wind, a favoring stern wind, the Zephyros, the west wind. It blows steadily across the wine-blue water.
So sailing conditions are ideal.
Perfect. Telemachus gives the signal, they hoist the mast, raise the white sail, and the wind fills it immediately. The ship just cuts through the water.
Must have been an incredible feeling for him.
You'd imagine so. And once they've got the ship sailing smoothly, they do one more thing. They pour out libations, offerings of wine.
To the cogs.
To all the gods, immortal and everlasting, but especially, Homer tells us, they poured one out to Zeus's gray-eyed daughter, Athene, acknowledging her help.
Makes sense. She's been pretty crucial.
Absolutely critical. It really highlights how his courage attracted this powerful, unseen support.
And the ship sails on.
All night long and into the dawn. That's how the book ends this section. Telemachus is finally on his way, heading into the unknown. His journey has truly begun.
Wow. So when you pull it all together, what does this whole sequence mean for us, for you listening? We've seen Telemachus go from this grieving, kind of overwhelmed kid to a young man making bold moves, facing down bullies, and actually setting sail.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows the power of, well, finding your voice, even when things seem impossible, when you're surrounded by negativity or opposition.
It's a reminder, isn't it, that sometimes just taking that first step, even if it feels small or desperate, like Telemachus crying in the assembly.
Right, even that can unlock strengths you didn't know you had. And maybe, just maybe, attract some unexpected help along the way.
So maybe think about this.
Yeah?
How often do we feel sort of stuck or powerless, faced with, I don't know, big problems or just too much information?
And could it be that one single decision, one act of courage, even if it starts with uncertainty or, like Telemachus, even tears, could that be the thing that kicks off our own transformation? Something to think about.